I be in a loop, she be in a loop. Brody want a friend, don't alley oop. Turn something to nothing, bro, I'm living proof. How can I lose when we the who?
You guys, it's finally time to build my computer. I can't even believe this happened, but after like so much support on here and my husband doing a little side hustling, I finally bought all my parts yesterday. Most of them will be here this week, but my CPU won't be here until the first week of November. So I am planning to probably the second week of November. But in the meantime, I want to talk to you about what I bought and why. And so I have my trusty iPad here because I took notes, because I did, on what I was going to buy. So, okay, so the CPU that I ended up buying was the AMD Ryzen 7 7800X3D, the 8-core 16-thread processor. So if you don't know what a CPU is, the CPU, I took notes. I took notes from like a variety of sources, so I'm going to read what I wrote to you. But the CPU will help you decide on your motherboard. It'll have specific things like cores, clock speed, threads, those type of things. And cores refer to how many processing units are reading and executing program instructions. So each chip can be made up of 1, 2, 4, or 8 cores. So for me, playing video games, streaming, editing videos and stuff like that, I will need more cores to have better performance. Ended up just based on like my needs and based on like longevity, buying the AMD Ryzen processor that I just told you about. And it's not here yet. It'll be the last part that I get, funnily enough, but I'll post a picture of it. So then the next thing that we'll talk about is the thing that cools the CPU, which for me, I got the NZXT Kraken Elite 360 RGB liquid cooler, and it's the new version for 2024. It's an AIO liquid cooler, 360 millimeter radiator, and it again has the RGB. It also lists having a customizable 2.72 IPS LCD screen, a turbine pump, and it's white. So what does the liquid cooler do? The liquid cooler makes sure that your CPU basically stays at a good temperature, because the CPU does a lot of work. You can get an air cooler or a liquid cooler, but I want a liquid cooler because with all the laptops I've had, I know it's because they were laptops, but they always struggled with like being able to do things without overheating to the point I couldn't even hardly touch them. And the liquid cooler is just in general more effective at controlling the temperature of the CPU. So that's why I got that. And I looked at a lot of reviews for the NZXT. Aesthetics was a big one for me, but also I wanted the customizable, like the screen. And then I wanted something that was an all-in-one liquid cooler, which this one was. So the next thing that I got was the motherboard, which I can actually show you this with my hands because it came. It finally came. Okay, hold on. I will also post the picture, but look, I actually have the motherboard in my hands. So this is the Asus, hold on, let me read the exact description. The Asus ROG Strix B650A Gaming Wi-Fi Ryzen 7000 motherboard. The reason why I got this one is because I read a lot of positive reviews. I liked that it had the Wi-Fi element. I like the color option of it being white and silver. And if y'all know me, you know that I am definitely pursuing a strong but aesthetic build as well. And I know like the white is barely visible, but either which way, that's part of the reason. And it also has the number of expansion slots that I needed. So that's the motherboard. Then I also, let's see what we should talk about next. Let's talk about the graphics card. I'm so excited. I got the Galax GeoForce RTX 4070 Easy Gamer in pink. So cute. In general, the GPU is, wait, let me tell you. GPU specializes in rendering visuals and video onto the display. So some computers or laptops already come with a GPU, others, like, especially, you know, I'm building one right now, so you have to get one that didn't come with it. And it essentially, like, depending on what you're doing, determines like how strong of a GPU that you need. So like if you're just doing word processing, you might not even need one, or you don't need a powerful one. But for me, doing all the stuff I'm doing, I need one that packs a little bit of a punch. And also this is the only one that I could find that was pink, on top of also being strong enough to do what I needed to do. So that was a big plus as to why I got that one. Storage, I got the Seagate Barracuda internal hard drive. And then I also got the Acer Predator, the solid state drive. So I have the solid state drive that already came. And I also have the hard drive, which is in this box that isn't like super pretty, but you can see it says Barracuda on it. These things are basically for storage, but like the longer term storage, whereas the RAM, which I got the Corsair Vengeance RGB Pro 32 gigs in white. The RAM is the short-term memory, which is like more for everyday tasks, and like the RAM doesn't like remember for a long period of time, if I understood it correctly. So that's the storage options that I got. As far as the PSU, which is the power supply, so I got the Corsair RM1000X Shift Fully Modular ATX power supply, and I got it in white, even though it's not really visible in the front of the case. I got it in white because I could. And the PSU is important because you have to make sure that it's strong enough to power what you have going on. That's why I was really happy to use PC Part Picker, because it told me how many watts that the rest of my build was going to be. So it let me know that, I mean, I don't need all 1,000 of these, but I am prepared in case I ever make any enhancements or anything. So this is more than enough power that I'll need. The fans that I got, I don't know how they're going to work, but I did read some reviews. They weren't all good, but they also weren't all bad. The Lian Li fans were at the top of my list, but they were going to take a long time to be here. And the fans that I found were actually in pink, so I'm going to give them a try. I ended up getting the Vitru SA140 3-pack of the 140 millimeter RGB fans, and they have a motherboard sync with a controller. A lot of people said the controller didn't work, but people who used the motherboard sync said it did work, and they're pink. There's 3 of them, so I'm just going to give them a shot. And then I also got the same brand in the 120 millimeter fans as well. Ended up having to get a different set of fans because, again, I would have loved to get the Lian Li, but they were taking forever to get here. So I ended up getting some reversible fans that are from Thermalright, and they're white. Because I was reading about like the differences between fans, and I feel like I need some fans that are also reversible. I have a total of 3, 6, 9 extra fans, as well as the 3 fans that are already on the graphics card. And I'm pretty certain that there's already a fan in this case. I swear I saw a fan somewhere, but maybe I'm lying to you. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. There could be, there could not be, but I'll let you know when I start building. So, then lastly, just some like very small things to mention that I got that aren't necessarily part of like the parts. So controversial, I guess, but I got like the anti-static mat, which is what you're supposed to, if you don't have like a surface, because this is not a wood desk that I have, which is what I'll probably be building on. And I just don't want to risk like frying any of the parts because they come in anti-static bags, some of them. So to avoid that, you can like build on top of like the box that they come in. But I just went ahead and got the anti-static mat and the grounding wire as well, just to be safe. I also bought a screwdriver set because I don't have a screwdriver set that has like, you know, a small enough set of like screws and stuff to be doing the computer build. It has 45 in 1 with case and a magnetic. I think like the screwdriver itself is magnetic, so you don't drop the parts, which is nice. And it says compatible with all kinds of things. So I got that. And then I also ended up, I know I didn't have to, but I just wanted to for the sake of like not having to mess around with some other things. I ended up getting the Microsoft Windows 11 USB for home. And then I also got some, they're from Cyrillar, some PCU extension cables that are pink. And then I also got some 70 pieces of pink cable ties, which were pink at a pretty good price. And I don't know what the company was. Another thing that's not really part of the build, but I think is important, is that I have this. I'm trying to decide how I want to shoot the build. I want to put a longer video on YouTube for, I just love all the girls building PC videos that have helped me so far in thinking about how to prepare for this build. So I kind of want to do some like options of like YouTube of me being further away or even close up, as well as TikTok. But like I have this little neck thing that I've been using to stream while I don't have a computer, because if like you want to see like how I'm using my hands to put the parts together, that way I can do it here. So still TBD on how I'm using that, but that is essentially what I got. Super excited about this. The ultimate goal of this was just that I just felt like I really needed something to do for me. And when I discovered streaming, that was my thing for a while. I started gaming again, and it made finding something to do outside of motherhood and finding a community so much more exciting and fun than trying to do everything alone. And the ultimate goal of this build will be for me to go back to streaming on a regular basis of some sort. So I hope you stick around.